Welcome to the 2021 Child Care Food Program Annual Workshop. The Child Care Food Program plays an important role to help providers serve nutritious meals and snacks to children in their care because young children need nutritious meals for healthy development. The objective of the program is to improve the diets of children under 13 years of age by providing nutritious, well-balanced meals. Today we will discuss meal pattern, meal counts, meal times and spacing, record-keeping requirements, claim submission and review procedure, reimbursement system, monitoring visits, providers' own children, license capacity, plan menus, civil rights, and there will be a quiz at the end. Infant participation. All infants in the daycare home must be enrolled. Parents or guardians need to be notified that an iron-fortified infant formula is offered at no charge. Parent or guardian can decline the provider's formula by signing a decline form provided by the sponsor. Parents or guardians may provide only one component for a reimbursable meal. Example, parent provide breast milk. Providers must provide remaining components. Please follow the infant meal pattern. Infants 6 through 11 months must be served all three components for lunch and supper. Milk. 1% unflavored milk is served to all children 2 years of age and older. Whole unflavored milk is served to children 1 year of age. 2% milk is not a credible milk. Fruit juices are not a credible component. Switching immediately from whole milk to low-fat or fat-free milk when a child turns 2 years old may be challenging. The USDA allows 24 to 25-month-olds a 1-month transition period. Grains. Please limit meat substitutions for the entire grain component on the breakfast menu to no more than 3 times per week. Grain-based desserts not reimbursable includes donuts, cereal bars, breakfast bars, granola bars, sweet rolls, toaster pastries, cake, and brownies. A whole grain rich must be served once a day. Whole grains. The USDA CCFP requires that at least one serving of grain contain a whole grain rich component. Grains that meet the whole grain rich component are grains that contain at least 50% whole grain and the remaining grain in the foods that are enriched, or 100% whole grain. Identifying whole grain rich. Number 1. Food is labeled 100% whole wheat and meets the FDA's standard of identity. 2. If the product is found on any state agency's WIC list. 3. FDA statement includes diets rich in a whole grain foods and other plant foods and low in fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol may reduce the risk of heart disease and some cancers. And diets rich in whole grain foods and other plant foods and low in saturated fat and cholesterol may help reduce the risk of heart disease. 4. Rule of 3. The first ingredient must be whole grain, and the next to grain ingredient must be whole grains, enriched grains, bran, or germs. 5. Food meets the whole grain rich criteria under the National School Lunch Program. 6. Proper documentation from a manufacturer or standardized recipe can demonstrate that whole grains are the primary grains by weight. Credible whole grain snacks include Wheat Thins, Goldfish, Sun Chips, Triscuits, and Simply Chex. Whole grains must be 100% whole grain. Labels that say 6 grams of whole grain, 8 grams of whole grain are not 100% whole grain and therefore not a credible whole grain. Please indicate, is this whole grain rich? Yes on KitCare. Yogurt. The requirement for yogurt must contain no more than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces. Please make sure to keep containers until the end of the day or have a photocopy posted on the refrigerator. If the yogurt is on the Women, Infants, and Children Authorized Food List shopping guide, the yogurt meets the sugar level. Cereal. Breakfast cereals must contain no more than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce. Keep food package label, ingredients list, nutrition facts label of all cereals being served. If the breakfast cereal is on the Women, Infants, and Children Authorized Food List shopping guide, the cereal meets the sugar level. Tofu. Tofu is a reimbursable meat alternative component. It must be commercially prepared, easily recognized as a meat substitute, such as tofu chunks in a stir fry, and contains at least 5 grams of protein per 2.2 ounces, equivalent to 1/4 of cup. Meat and meat alternatives. Processed meat and meat alternates such as fish sticks and chicken nuggets must have a CN label or a PFS product formulation statement signed by the manufacturer, which verifies the product's contribution to the meal pattern requirements. Please try not to throw labels away until the end of the day. Photocopy labels and post it on the refrigerator. Take a picture of any label on a smartphone. Please make sure to submit CN labels or PFS if processed foods are being used. Please follow meal pattern for all children. For breakfast, please select all 3 components for a reimbursable meal. The components include milk, vegetable, fruits, or portions of both, and grains. Lunch and supper. Please select all 5 components, including milk, meat alternates, vegetables, fruits, and grains. For snack, please select 2 of the 5 components for a reimbursable snack, including milk, meat alternates, vegetables, fruits, and grains. Meal pattern for children. Food portions and components must meet the CCFP requirements. All children must be served and offered the same food unless they have a written statement. All components must be served together. Please try serving the food components separately to ensure portion sizes and components meet the CCFP requirement. Please avoid mixing foods such as vegetable soup. Meal count. Only claim children who have received a meal or snack. Take caution when clicking each child's name on KidCare. Meal counts and menus must be posted by 10 p.m. daily. Meals recorded before the meal is served will be disallowed. Daily meal worksheet must be done only when there is technical issues notified by Minute Menu and turned in the morning after. Please print extra daily meal worksheet by clicking Reports, Worksheet, Daily Meal Worksheet, and run on KidCare. Meal times and spacing. Breakfast must be served before 8:45 a.m., lunch between 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and dinner between 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Spacing of major meals, breakfast to lunch and lunch to dinner, must have a 3-hour gap from beginning of meal to meal. Spacing of major meal and snack, breakfast to AM snack to lunch, lunch to PM snack to dinner must have a 2-hour gap from beginning of meal to snack or snack to meal. Providers must serve meals as scheduled. Serving earlier without any notice of meals will be disallowed. If mealtimes change, inform KFAM staff as soon as possible. All changes need to be made to CDE, the California Department of Education. Record keeping and requirements. All providers must have a copy of each child's enrollment form. All children in daycare must be enrolled. Claimed food and attendance can be saved or printed after claim is submitted to KFAM each month. You should have a copy of the current license fee payment, copy of permanent agreement between a sponsor and a daycare homes provider, copy of monitoring visit report, print from KidCare, medical forms for any children, decline forms for children in the daycare not participating in the food program, and nutrition fact labels for cereals, yogurt, and whole grains. All records must be kept 3 years and current. Claim submission and review procedures. Providers must submit their monthly claim online using KidCare before the 3rd of each month for timely filing. Documents such as CIF enrollment forms must be submitted to KFAM, CCFP office by the 3rd of each month. CCFP staff works on online claims received and other documents according to the policy and regulation. Received claims will be submitted to CDE by due date. Error report with current month CIF will be mailed out to each provider. Reimbursement system. KFAM submits claims to CDE NSD each month on or before the due date according to the annual contract with CDE. CDE has 45 days or longer to work and process claims sent by KFAM. Once KFAM receives the reimbursement check from the state, our finance manager deposits the check from the state and starts preparing reimbursement checks for each provider. KFAM must send out reimbursement checks within 5 working days from the receipt of the reimbursement check from the state. Monitoring visits. 3 unannounced monitoring visits will be done each year. Monitoring visits are done during the provider's hours of operation. Monitor will observe safety of child and food, appropriate portions and/or quality of meals. Record keeping is up to date. Capacity of license. Providers must stay within their license capacity. See and label yogurt, milk, cereal, and whole grain. Block claims. A block claim is defined as a claim for reimbursement on which the number of meals claimed for one or more meal type is identical for 15 consecutive days within a claiming period. And milk, 1% or fat-free milk to children 2 years old and older. During the COVID-19 pandemic, all monitoring visits will be done virtually via Zoom. 1 virtual visit will be unannounced, and provider will be notified 10 to 15 minutes before a meal, and 1 virtual visit will be announced. Provider's own children. Provider's own children refers to any children who reside in the household, such as the provider's own children by birth or adoption, grandchildren, or housemates' children who are part of the economic unit. Meal to the provider's own children may only be reimbursed if the following 3 conditions exist. The provider's children must be enrolled and participating in the child care program during the time of the meal service. Other enrolled non-resident children must be present and participating in the same meal service. And the daycare home sponsor has a current, less than 12 months old, eligibility document on file for establishing income or categorical eligibility for the provider's household or foster children, the meal benefit form. Tier 2 providers do not qualify to claim their own children. Children must be enrolled as not participating in the food program, and a decline form must be submitted. License capacity for 6 children. In a small family child care home whose license capacity is for 6 children, the following capacity ratios apply. 4 infants only, 0 to 24 months. 3 infants and 3 older children over the age of 24 months. 2 infants and 4 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 infant and 5 older children over the age of 24 months, 6 older children over the age of 24 months. License capacity for 8 children. In a small family child care home whose license capacity is for 8 children, the following capacity ratios apply. 2 infants and 6 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 child must be at least age 6 and 1 child must be enrolled in kindergarten. 1 infant and 7 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 child must be at least 6 and 1 child must be enrolled in kindergarten. Or 8 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 must be at least age 6 and 1 must be enrolled in kindergarten. The license capacity for 12 children. In a small family child care home whose license capacity is for 12 children, the following capacity ratios apply. 4 infants and 8 older children over the age of 24 months with a qualified assistant, 3 infants and 9 older children over the age of 24 months with a qualified assistant, 2 infants and 10 older children over the age of 24 months with a qualified assistant, 1 infant and 11 older children over the age of 24 months with a qualified assistant, or 12 older children over the age of 24 months with a qualified assistant. License capacity for 14 children. In a large family child care home whose license capacity is for 14 children, the following capacity ratios apply. 3 infants and 11 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 of the children must be at least age 6 and 1 child enrolled in kindergarten with qualified assistant, landlord permission, and parent notification. 2 infants and 12 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 of the children must be at least age 6 and 1 child enrolled in kindergarten with qualified assistant, landlord permission, and parent notification. 1 infant and 13 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 of the children must be at least age 6 and 1 child must be enrolled in kindergarten with qualified assistant, landlord permission, and parent notification. Or 14 older children over the age of 24 months, 1 of the children must be at least age 6 and 1 child enrolled in kindergarten with qualified assistant, landlord permission, and parent notification. October renewal. All enrollment forms expire September 30th of each year. Any new child enrolled in the month of September, enrollment form expires September 30th. Example, child enrolled September 6th. This enrollment form will expire September 30th and a new enrollment form dated October 1st will be required. All renewed enrollment forms must be submitted by October 5th, 2021 to receive October reimbursement on time. KFAM will send copies before October 1st of each month. Any new child enrolled after copies are sent, provider is responsible to print from KidCare and submit the original to KFAM. KFAM is not responsible for any unsubmitted renewal forms. Please make sure to keep a copy of all enrollment forms before submitting the original to KFAM. Not home policy. If provider and children are not present at daycare without notice, all meals for the day will be disallowed. Monitor will revisit. Provider must notify agency when daycare is closed and/or mark closed for business on KidCare calendar. If provider has an assistant, assistant must be trained regarding the food program. Assistant must know meal pattern, portions, and have access to records. Household contact. Household contacts can be made by a sponsor agency staff to a parent or legal guardian of a child enrolled in the daycare to verify attendance and enrollment of a child. Sponsoring organization will contact the household when one or more of the following are noted. Meal counts are inconsistent with attendance records. Prior 5-day meal counts are higher than the attendance on the day of monitoring visit. A large evening or holiday meal and snack are claimed for reimbursement. Meals served and claimed do not correspond to the information on the enrollment. Planned menus. KFAM is encouraging all providers to have a weekly or monthly planned menu. This can be done by using the KidCare Meals, Schedule menu, enter the menu weekly, save, print, and post, or create your own weekly or monthly planned menu. Food safety. Always wash hands and wear gloves before serving. Place all food items 6 inches above the floor. Store open cereals inside a container with lid. Keep refrigerator at or under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Common errors. Pending child. Please mail in all enrollment forms as soon as they are signed. Child exceeds 2 meals and 1 snack or 2 snacks and 1 meal limit. Child file indicates the child doesn't normally attend day of week or given meal. Please let me know if the child's schedule needs to be updated. Do not go over capacity for preschoolers or infants. School-age child served a meal when they should have been in school. Remember to add no school on KidCare calendar for school-age children present in the daycare during vacation and holidays. This applies during the COVID-19 pandemic when children will be learning from home. Civil rights. Discrimination based on race, ethnicity, ancestry and color, religion, sex, sexual orientation and gender identity, national origin, age, marital status, and domestic partner status, or disability is prohibited. Our Civil Rights Officer is Ms. Catherine Yom, and please refer to CCFP 35 Civil Rights Complaint Procedures inside the folder you will be receiving. All complaints should be brought to KFAM CCFP manager, staff, or executive director, preferably in writing and as soon as possible. Complaints can also be brought directly to EEOC or Department of Fair Employment and Housing. See and Justice for All poster available in the office. KFAM's Civil Rights Officer is the executive director. KFAM will immediately conduct an investigation. Any findings will result in immediate remedial action, and responsible employees may be subject to disciplinary action. KFAM will not retaliate against anyone who files a complaint, regardless of the findings. Here are some resources and websites. Certificate. To obtain your 2021 annual training certificate, follow the link to take the quiz. All providers that have taken the quiz and passed, a certificate and workshop folder will be mailed to the provider's home. All providers will have 3 attempts to pass. Providers that fail to take the quiz will need to come to the Korean American Family Services Office for training. For any questions and comments, please feel free to contact Christine Chu.